They lied to you. For decades, they poured sweet poison into your ears, telling you that if you just studied hard, worked steady, and played by the rules, the money would follow as a natural reward for your virtue. But here you are. You're 35, maybe 40. You look at your bank account and feel that cold, sickly shame crawling up your throat. You never learned how to earn. You learned how to function. You learned how to service someone else's dreams, how to file reports, and how to show up for Zoom calls on time. But the actual mechanism of building wealth? That's a secret code everyone seems to have cracked except for you. Feel that pressure in the back of your head? That's the weight of your unfulfilled potential turning into toxic sediment. Does this sound familiar? Welcome to the reality where your degree is gathering dust and your stability is just a very long line for a glass of disappointment. Meet Kyle. Kyle is 38. If you saw him on your Instagram feed, you'd think, there's a guy who's got it figured out. Sharp beard, crisp shirt, expensive coffee, a decent apartment in a trendy zip code. Kyle is a master of the mask. He is a world-class athlete in the sport of keeping up appearances. He's learned to perfectly mimic middle-class success. But let's look behind the curtain. Every night when the smartphone screen goes dark, Kyle sits in the silence with a calculator running in his head. He's calculating how many days he'd survive if he got fired tomorrow. The answer is 3 weeks. His life is a house of cards built on credit limits and buy now, pay later schemes. He buys things he doesn't need to impress people he doesn't like with money he doesn't have. Every new gadget isn't a joy. It's an anesthetic. It's a temporary fix to drown out the scream inside. I'm almost 40, and I still don't know how money works. Kyle is terrified to open his banking app. He's afraid of unknown numbers on his phone. He's afraid of his own reflection because the man looking back is a 40-year-old with the soul of a frightened teenager, waiting for a real adult to finally show up and fix everything. But no one is coming. Why is Kyle in this trap? Why are you in this trap? The root of the problem isn't the economy or the inflation rate. The root is your internal operating system. Kyle was raised in a world where wanting money was seen as dirty or shallow. His parents, children of a different era, told him, just be a good person, the money doesn't matter. He was injected with a scarcity mindset. His brain treats significant wealth as a threat, something that belongs to them, the cynical, the greedy, the lucky. Social pressure demands that Kyle perform status, so he spends all his energy masking his poverty instead of curing it. This is the psychology of the Potemkin village. You spend your resources on the facade rather than the foundation. You buy the brand because you're terrified of feeling like a nobody. It's a dopamine loop from hell. You buy, you feel better for an hour, the shame returns, and you have to buy again. You're running in a wheel that's spinning faster and faster, but you're stuck in the same place. Your fear of risk is so massive that you've chosen a slow death by routine over the chance of a financial breakthrough. You're so afraid of making a mistake that you've stopped doing anything new. You've become a hostage to your own learned helplessness. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect project, or the perfect market, while your life leaks away into 1,000 tiny, daily expenses. The breaking point happened on a random Tuesday. Kyle was standing at the grocery store checkout, and his card was declined. The amount was trivial, the cost of a dinner. But there was a line behind him. He felt their eyes. In that moment, his mask didn't just crack. It shattered into a million jagged pieces. He walked out to the parking lot, sat in a car he'll be paying off for the next 3 years, and he just screamed. It wasn't a scream of despair. It was a scream of pure, unadulterated rage at his own weakness. That was his catharsis. That night, Kyle didn't sleep. He spread every receipt, every bank statement, and every credit agreement across his kitchen table. It was surgery without anesthesia. For the first time in a decade, he looked the truth in the eye. He was financially dead. His net worth was negative. His skills were stagnant. His ambitions were nothing but hot air. The transformation didn't start with hustle culture or mirror affirmations. It started with the brutal humiliation of his own ego. Kyle sold the car. He moved into an apartment half the size. He deleted every food delivery app. He started tracking every single cent. It was boring. It was painful. His friends mocked him, said he was going through a phase or becoming a cheapskate. But Kyle felt something he hadn't felt in years: control. The neurobiology of anxiety is simple. The brain panics when there is no predictability. When Kyle started doing the gritty, boring math, his amygdala, the brain's fear center, began to quiet down. Not because he had more money, but because the money became visible. The darkness vanished. He stopped being a victim of circumstances and became the operator of a process. He started investing in his own brain, not through get-rich-quick scams, but through the hard study of markets, the mastery of high-value skills, and the discipline of delayed gratification. He started working 14-hour days, but now every hour was a brick in his own wall, not a shingle on someone else's roof. A year has passed. Kyle doesn't drive a Ferrari. He doesn't post photos from private jets. From the outside, his life looks even humbler than it did before. But look at his eyes. The flickering fear is gone. He has a FU fund that can sustain him for a year. He has zero debt. His income has started to climb, not because of luck, but because he learned to create value instead of just imitating busyness. He became free. Free from the neighbor's opinion, free from the bank's thumb, and free from the ego that used to eat him alive. He realized the ultimate truth. Earning money isn't about luck. It's about the discipline to say no to a small hit of pleasure today for the sake of a massive victory tomorrow. It's about being honest with yourself when you'd rather lie. Now, I'm talking to you. You're standing where Kyle was in that parking lot. You can keep playing this game, pretending you've got it under control and hoping for a miracle. But there is no miracle. There is only age. There is only regret. And there is the bitter aftertaste of a life spent in imitation. Aren't you ashamed? Aren't you tired of being a slave to your own fear? Right now, not tomorrow, take the first step. Turn off this video, grab a piece of paper, and write down your real financial situation. No fluff, no excuses. Every debt, every waste, every cent. Look at the horror and own it. This is your ground zero. Go to the comments and write down one thing you are giving up today to be free tomorrow. Share your pain, let it out. We aren't here to pat each other on the back. We're here to wake up. Your life doesn't start until you kill the illusion that you just never learned. You just didn't want to see the price of the lesson. Subscribe if you're ready for the surgery. The time for fairy tales is over. The time for adult decisions is here. Your capital is your freedom. Start building it today, or keep faking it until the final silence. The choice has always been yours.